Apartheid Week is a disgraceful slander against the State of Israel. At the same time, just today there was a news release from the Canadian government where they've said the same, and they're getting House Party agreement to that effect. Over and over again, university presidents themselves have said that this is a disgraceful attempt to slander the State of Israel, which is not an apartheid state. So what you need to do is look around you, not at the radical lefties that have an alternative agenda in mind, which is in fact to destroy the State of Israel. But look around you at those who want to make peace, who are talking about a two-state solution, who want to find a compromise, and see how you can help move it there. Rather than fomenting hate and intolerance on university campuses, why don't you try to build bridges between Jewish groups and Muslim groups? Why is it that you continue with the slander?
Okay. Dr. Hart.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Avi's assessment. I think that where the block comes in is, or the lack of information comes in, is using these platitudes to describe and to group. And I think that's really incorrect. We talk about apartheid, you talk about separation. It's more than separation, it's more than segregation. It's a racist infrastructure that is legislated. And that was what was practiced in apartheid South Africa. And I would seriously challenge the speaker from Edmonton to give me any possible equivalence in Israel today. I mean, he talks about roadblocks. Roadblocks are... No, it's not apartheid. And I mean, we could get into all of the reasons for why the roadblocks are there, primarily among which is to protect the population of Israel against some of the excesses on the other side that have threatened their safety and have threatened their security. We can get into all of these sorts of nuances and all these sorts of details about what's happening and why it's happening. But at the end of the day, to equate South African apartheid with Israel is no more than a slur, it's no more than a canard, and it's used as a tool, it's used as a tactic to attack, to denigrate, demoralize, delegitimize, and demonize the State of Israel. And it should be seen as such, and it's very divisive, particularly when it gets played out on campuses in Canada.
Okay, and I'll tell you what, we must go for a break now, and after we come back from that break, we want to hear what you have to say on the phone line, so we're going to ask you to be patient with us. We'll also hear what Rebecca's feedback is, and some food for thought here, because an article came out in the paper last week, at the latter half of last week, and it was in the National Post, written by John Ivison. The title was, Mideast Might Upset NDP Unity. And this is an issue I'd also be addressing with Joel French, who is our guest out in Edmonton, since he is also president of the campus NDP out at the University of Alberta. Okay, so we're going to go for a break first. We'll be back after this. Don't go away. Hello again and welcome back to our discussion. We're talking about Israel Apartheid Week today and what it means to Israel, the state, and also to the Jewish people in general. But also what we're adding to our program today, we're actually looking at the side that supports and is behind this lobby, if you want to call it, of Israel Apartheid Week. So Joel French, who is the president of the Palestine Liberation Network out at the University of Alberta, he's also joining us. And I want to make one thing clear here. Joel is representing an ideology today. He's talking about the drive behind Israel Apartheid Week. This isn't Joel here. We're not ganging up on Joel. We're looking at what the reason is for Israel Apartheid Week, and we're trying to find out what it means to the state of Israel and once again to the Jewish people at large in Canada. Now, before we move on with our guests here in the studio, we're going to go now to Alfred on line 4, calling us from Alberta. Hello, Alfred. You're on the line.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, my take on this is that, what we are seeing today started 10, 15 years ago, where the left got into total agreement with the Muslims. And they want to destroy the state of Israel in a way is, you first give the dog a bad name, then you hang him sort of thing. They are trying to demonize Israel. I challenge them, is any other minority is living so freely as they live in Israel, the Muslims are, or the Palestinians are living in Israel? What about the Christians running away from Iraq or even Gaza? The thing is, it is all there, and unfortunately, the left, for the sake of vote, the Muslims have got a voting power and they vote en masse. They will try to go to any level to demonize Israel so that when all the Muslim states get together to liquidate it, and trust me, this is true, because you see, the thing is, when the Prophet was dying, his last sermon was, go and kill all the Jews and the Christians. And it is not actually a political thing. It's for Muslims, it's a religious thing. And we, unfortunately, are playing in their hands because we want to get their votes to get elected. There is no such thing as, apartheid in Israel. It is different.
Alfred, I want to thank you for calling in and expressing your point of view. Do any of you want to reply to this? Because Alfred is saying it does go back to the Muslims. Would you agree with that or not?
Well, look, there's a very, very important point here, which I think I want to raise in response to the comment just made, which is you have to look at the Middle East in general, and you have to look at the climate of the Middle East. And when you refer to the word apartheid, if you single out the state of Israel, this is exactly the key point here, is if you single out the state of Israel and you label it as an apartheid state, the reason it's anti-Semitism, one of the fundamental reasons, is because you are completely overlooking at what else is happening around the Middle East. There is apartheid today in Saudi Arabia. Women are excluded. Homosexuals are beaten, are killed.